Last year, after devastating hurricanes slammed into Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, President Trump repeatedly touted his administration's response as, quote, unbelievable, amazing, and incredible, end of quote. Unfortunately, the facts on the ground show just the opposite. The Trump administration completely botched a massive $156 million contract to deliver 30 million emergency meals in the aftermath of the storm. They ignored one of the key lessons from Hurricane Katrina, setting up advanced contracts for emergency provisions. Instead, they rushed to give this huge contract to a tiny one-person company with a terrible and obvious history of failing much smaller contracts. Predictably, they had to cancel the contract, all while thousands of starving American citizens were in desperate need of food. My staff uncovered this issue with absolutely no help from FEMA or the Department of Homeland Security or the White House. Despite our multiple letters requesting documents to explain this massive screw-up, we have not received one document regarding this issue. The Trump administration also completely failed to respond to desperate pleas for help from grocery stores that needed fuel to keep their food from spoiling, including tons of produce, dairy, and other perishables. My staff obtained documents showing that Walmart, explaining repeatedly that their grocery stores had generators in place, but they needed emergency fuel to keep the food from spoiling. Puerto Rican officials communicated these concerns directly to FEMA in person and in writing. But by September 27, a full week after the hurricane, no fuel was provided. Again, the Trump administration has refused to provide any of the documents we requested regarding this massive, and I mean massive, failure. Nearly 3,000 people died. 3,000 people died in this tragedy, more than Hurricane Katrina. But rather than recognizing any failings by his own administration, President Trump accused Democrats of somehow manufacturing the death count. He tweeted, and I quote, "This was done by the Democrats in order to make me look as bad as possible," end of quote. Today, I'm releasing additional documents that also contradict President Trump's claims about his administration's response. Specifically, I'm releasing an email sent on November 29, 2017, 70 days after the hurricane struck. The email was sent to Mike Byrne, the top FEMA official overseeing the response in Puerto Rico. The senator's name is redacted, but it is from someone on the ground in Vieques, in Puerto Rico. This email warns that the conditions remain dire and, quote, limited to no communications, quote, end of quote, and that, quote, gas lines are in excess of 6 hours at times due to inconsistent delivery, end of quote. The email concludes this, and I quote, "Mr. Byrne, we need help. More than 2 months following Hurricane Maria, we are watching our local electric crews struggle to to repair the system with no equipment and no material. We are hearing estimates that we will be 1 year without regular power. Why? End of quote. We can do better than this. The email was provided to a congressional office and directly to FEMA Administrator Brock Long.